right. Hello, Rebecca. How are you?
Good, Marion. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a minute.
It really has been. But you know what? All the better that we're getting back together to give everybody an update on important things that we've been talking about.
Yes. We want to focus this episode on giving you all an update about our Nursing is STEM application, which we submitted to the Department of Homeland Security back in August. It's been a number of months now. We still haven't heard from them, but we do have some updates to share to help keep the momentum going.
Yeah, and let's give everybody just a little bit of background, Marion, for those who were not aware, right? About 6 months ago, Marion and I were informed that nursing was not classified as a STEM and that there are primary organizations that control that designation. Now, STEM, as you guys know, is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And it is sort of surprising that nursing's never been included in that topic, but largely it was seen that nursing, and what we understand is when they had put in previous applications, was not seen to be seen as anything as a true science. They sort of referred to nursing as a soft science. Obviously, this was something Marion and I took issue with and joined the Nursing as STEM Coalition as the co-chairs to bring this issue to light. And Marion, do you want to give a little bit more background of what happened from that point in time?
Yeah, as part of that coalition, we put together this application that laid out in detail how we see nursing as a STEM field, from all of the clinical work and education that we do to research, innovation, entrepreneurship, all the things that encompass the nursing field and that encompass the different STEM degrees that nurses are so familiar with as part of the work that we do. And so we laid out that in that application, a very detailed outline of those different particulars, and then submitted it along with a number of signatures to the Department of Homeland Security. Part of what we're going to be asking of you all today is to continue to help us collect signatures and to help spread the word.
Right. And the reason why we start with the Department of Homeland Security is actually what's very interesting is the Department of Homeland Security actually owns the list of where the definition of STEM professions is designated. And the reason they own that is it gives special precedent to either students who are studying in the United States or workforces who under STEM designation can actually access jobs and opportunities in the United States. Now, there are other systems that allow for classification of STEM, but the thing is the Department of Homeland Security reviews this list every single year. And what they found traditionally is when they, for example, about a year ago declared forestry as a STEM profession, it basically allowed for every other department in the federal government to issue forestry as a STEM designation. We're going to give you guys an update on everything that was going on, but why this is important to Marion and I is there are billions of dollars in STEM funding initiatives that nursing are currently locked out in. Everything from research to education to scholarships, everything that basically happens as a STEM profession, we don't qualify for. And I remember this personally when I was teaching at Bunker Hill Community College, how many of my nursing students couldn't get into nursing school because they could not take the prerequisites at the community college because they were full of things for like chemistry and pathophysiology, were full of people who had declared a STEM profession who get priority to those seats, and nurses are otherwise denied access. Beyond that, not only do nurses not get priority access to the education classes that they need as prerequisites, but they also don't qualify for the scholarships that are afforded to so many other STEM professions. So, for example, I just recently was talking with a young nursing student who had graduated as a nurse. She wanted to go back and get her master's, and she decided to go to get a degree in master's in engineering because it was so much less costly to get a degree in engineering than it is a degree in nursing because there are no scholarships available. So Marion and I are back here today to provide you an update with everything that we're doing on the Nursing as STEM Coalition. She just shared that link across it because we have some exciting updates, and this is why we need your help.
And we also want to lay out the next steps for after the Department of Homeland Security, where we go from there. And so let me just start with some of our updates. So as I mentioned, we've had an outpouring of support for the Nursing as STEM movement. Obviously, there are a lot of nurses, organizations, universities, and health systems who really feel as strongly as we do that nursing is, in fact, a STEM field. And so we've had top nursing programs from around the country throw in their support, including, of course, UPenn, Johns Hopkins, Yale, Columbia, and others. We've had over 70 colleges and universities and schools of nursing, over 50 national and state level professional healthcare organizations, 50 or I'm sorry, over 1,700 individuals as well sign on. And so one of the biggest new sign-ons, and maybe you want to mention this, Rebecca, is the national ANA, American Nurses Association, which of course you all know represents over 4 million registered nurses, have also now taken on the call for nursing to be a STEM field.
Yes, we're really excited to say that the American Nurses Association actually put forward a letter in September to back up and support the work of getting nursing designated as a STEM, in which the Nursing as STEM Coalition launched. And they brought forward several other major nursing organizations to sign on that. Everybody from the American Academy of Critical Care Nurses to the Association of Rehabilitation Nurses, and a number of these associations, everyone is getting behind this movement. And this is one of the most exciting things I think we've ever seen happen in nursing.
Mm-hmm.
That basically a small grassroots movement started a national discussion that is now leading to monumental alignment to actually push these issues at Congress. And what we're doing is we're aiming at it in sort of a try kind of approach. So we started with the Department of Homeland Security, and which point now we're going to congressional leadership to start saying, look, if it's not, we're hoping that we'll get appointed by a department, but if not, we're also going to go to our legislators and lobby for policy change that would actually have an act of Congress declare nursing as a STEM as one of our second acts as well. But we also have a third. So Marion, do you want to talk to us? We should probably give him an update on the Department of Homeland Security and then what our next steps are going on from here.
I do, but I want to make the point that the reason we need a coordinated coalition to help move this forward is because we want to show that nursing as a profession is engaged and interested and wants to move this forward. And so bringing all the different nursing groups together, like Rebecca said, the ANA, the American Organization for Nurse Leadership, and others has also signed on. And so showing this, coordinated, collaborative effort as a profession together really shows a stronger force, and hopefully will show the Department of Homeland Security that again, the profession as a whole really wants to move this forward, and it's not just like a small group of people who are pushing it forward. Because what we're showing and what we see, and like I mentioned, we have almost 2,000 individual and organizational signatures moving this forward, including those large nursing organizations. And I think that's really important and shouldn't be undersold, because we don't want to look like disenfranchised profession. We want to look, like we are, like a strong force to be reckoned with.
Exactly. And, I have to tell you, I've recently been spending some time up on Capitol Hill. And when this issue has been brought forth, and that we're basically informing our legislators that nursing is not classified as a STEM profession, especially in light of the pandemic, many of them are perplexed and had no idea that this profession was not included in that classification. Because as you know, many people that show up on Congress and lobby are asking for more financial dollars to support nursing education. Overnight, if nursing was classified as a STEM, they'd have access to those billions of dollars and resources that would fundamentally support nursing education in a way we've never done so across in history. So the truth is I think we're gaining traction, we're gaining momentum. And this is really exciting to see the alignment of the nursing organizations at scale to bring together a united front to make this happen. So,
yes. And so we should hear back from the Department of Homeland Security, from what we've heard, no later than the end of December. And, we're hoping for good news, but it doesn't stop there. After that, we're going to then submit to the Department of Education. And, what we know of that group is that there is a subgroup within there called the National Center for Educational Statistics, which I've done some reading into, and it's interesting that this is the group that controls this, but this is our government. So once we submit to them, we have to then do similar things, apply to show why we want to be considered a STEM profession. And they actually have these, this is sort of getting into the weeds here, but they have these primary codes that are already in existence. And we're fairly confident that nursing fits under these established codes. And if nursing was listed under one of these codes, we'd automatically be included as a STEM profession. So go ahead.
Oh, and why the time is now is this organization only meets once every 10 years, which is very interesting. So the Department of Education is actually coming up to review these classifications in 2025. So the ones that Marion is talking about specifically, we have been looking into some of the research along with some of our colleagues, and they believe nursing qualifies as if listed as a biological and biomedical science degree. And that is one that we feel very strongly that nursing would classify under. So why are we telling you about our next steps? We're hopeful that the Department of Homeland Security may make a moonshot decision that establishes nursing as a STEM. But if it doesn't happen, we're going to still take on and work with our legislators to see if an act of Congress could actually get nursing to qualify as STEM. But even there, we're not stopping. And we're going to move forward with the Department of Education classification. And this is why we need your help. The truth is you guys have been super helpful to this point in sharing this information on LinkedIn and et cetera. We feel that it is important that we take this beyond. And so we are asking you guys to start writing blogs, commentaries, letters to the editors of your newspapers to start talking about nursing as a STEM initiative. The truth is anyone can write a piece and get published. It does not matter your degree or your pedigree or your background. We fundamentally believe that the more nurses of all different backgrounds get behind this movement, the stronger our initiative will be. So Marion, you are an expert writer. Give us some tips and tricks to people who are thinking, oh my gosh, I totally support this, but I'm very nervous about putting something forward. How should they go about writing some kind of piece? And where would you suggest they first start publishing?
Yeah, I mean, so I am a huge proponent of nurses using their voices, their expertise, and amplifying the work that they do. And every nurse has the skill and ability to do this. So start with your local newspaper, no matter where you live. Most newspapers have either letter to editors or opinion pieces. Those are a really great place to start. And especially if you're unsure how to put op-ed together, letters to the editor are really much more casual. So you can always submit a letter to the editor talking about what you do and why you are invested in nursing as a STEM profession. So just writing from the heart, writing what you know for a letter to the editor is really helpful. Having some evidence to support it is great. But we're really looking for people to give a human story to this, a human side of why you really think nursing should be designated a STEM profession. And then to Rebecca's point, go to the journals that you are comfortable with. Start writing blog posts and putting it on LinkedIn. There's a lot of different ways to use your voice and your comfort level with putting your voice out there to help move this movement forward.
And let me tell you, people want to hear from you guys, right? The truth is they want to hear from nurses, and there is no right or wrong way. This is simply you being passionate about telling the story of what we do as nurses and why we believe it should be classified as a STEM. So you can access, again, go to the Nursing is STEM Coalition website and go ahead and look at the letter we submitted, grab data we have from there, put together an article and submit it. The truth is if it doesn't get submitted into a place that you want it to, go ahead and post that on LinkedIn. Tag Marion and I. We'll amplify that post because we know that the greatest chance for change we have is when we have a groundswell of support. And it's everyday nurses, all of us coming together to make this change happen. And you guys have already started to make it happen. Let's be honest. If it hadn't been for your guys' support behind the Nursing is STEM Coalition, the likelihood we would have got the attention of both the ANA and AONL to take this step to actually promote and move and advocate for this change was not going to happen without your support. So congratulations to you guys. We're really excited. And we're not giving up on this fight, you guys. We're in it for the long run. And so is the group that we're working with on Nursing is STEM.
But we need your support. Nursing is 4 million strong. We need the voices of those nurses to help continue to push this forward and to show the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Education, and others why we feel strongly that nursing is a STEM profession. So please take some time to, write up your letters to the editor, op-eds, blogs, whatever. If you want to reach out to us and talk through what you want to write, happy to help provide some guidance, but feel very strongly that nurses use their voice to amplify this movement.
Thanks for being with us, you guys. We'll be back for another episode of the Love and Larry podcast in the future, and we'll keep you posted on Nursing a STEM.